out there in virtual land? Let me see what's happening. Here we go. Okay, all right. I'm set, so hopefully you out there are set. So someone out there in virtual land, please let me know that you can see and hear me. That would be good. That's my little go-ahead. And now someone should be able to log on because there's a 20-second delay. Let me get rid of this thing if I can. Good, I got, oh, 3 are on. All right, Susan, down in the DR, Dominican Republic. So Susan, you win a spiritual mind treatment. Also, Angela, hello, welcome. You also win. There we go. And Margit, good morning from your mom in Germany and me. Okay, all right, so you 3 are the winners. Let me know for what you would like me to do a spiritual mind treatment, and you'll be good to go. Okay. So it's time for our spiritual mind treatment of the day. And let me know this. Okay. So this word is being spoken for each one. And if there's anyone or any place on this planet that you would also like to have included, just think of their name or that place now, and know that the infinite mind is infinite and knows what you mean and includes all. So there is one mind, the mind of God. Clearly, it is a mind of infinite intelligence because it is behaving intelligently and creating this entire universe and having everything within this manifest universe moving in synchrony and harmony with everything else, that every single aspect, every single expression of the divine, from the smallest detail to the largest organism, all is created in a way that is in relationship with everything else, and that relationship is always one of harmony. There can be no disharmony in the universe, because if there was disharmony anywhere, the whole universe would collapse, implode, be destroyed. And so because the universe is alive, it is expanding, which is an evidence of the movement of everything in this universe. And because it is doing all this in balance and in harmony, and everything remains in order, and that it is now realized that this is the situation for each one and everything in each one's world. And so any belief that there's some aspect of a human life or one's personal life that is disharmonious, that there is allowed some sort of disharmony or confusion or destructiveness, it's all revealed to be not true. And it cannot be true, because if it were true, the entire universe would be destroyed. And so only harmony, only peace exists. And each one is now able to see as this divine intelligent mind sees. It is able to see its order, its intelligence, its harmony, its activity, always ensuring perfect right order, divine right action, and therefore always allowing each and every expression of itself to be in that movement that is always moving from good to greater good. That there is no such thing as moving backwards in life. There is no such thing as moving into the past. It cannot be, because just like a kaleidoscope, any particular arrangement of relationships in any particular moment cannot be recreated. It is gone as the next moment expresses. And so that is true of each one here. And so all personal judgment or opinion or belief that there is a situation or an arrangement in one's life that is disharmonious, it is now vanished from the light of being in that higher perspective of seeing the perfect harmony that is omnipresent. And so each one is now living in harmony. Everything in each one's expression is God and is present as an expression of each one's greater good. And so wherever it is revealed that one is experiencing conflict or disharmony or confusion or guilt, it is now revealed that that person has been believing a false belief. And for the greater good, it is now realized that it is a lie, and it is erased from consciousness. The truth is, this beautiful, dynamic life is good and all good. It creates from its goodness for the purpose of goodness, and it supports, sustains, and maintains everything that it has created to be in harmony, in wholeness, in balance, and peace with everything else. In human realm, it expresses as health and vitality. It is the divine harmony that each one use the gift of substance in a form where each one may express all that he or she desires to express. And so all the beliefs that would interfere with that perfect expression, a belief that I've been on the planet too long, I'm too old, a belief that in being limited or restricted or held in bondage in some way, a belief in the inheritance of human personality or human traits, anything that would restrict one from experiencing the harmonious body that the divine is creating for them is now erased, vanished, gone, so that the divine's beautifully created mold is now that mold that is used in fashioning the form, the body, the expression of each one on this planet. And so each one is knowing perfect health, vitality, filled with the energy and love of spirit, enthused with the joy of living and being and expressing, and experiencing perfect right order, divine right action, as perfect assimilation, circulation, and elimination. This is expressing in form as body, but also in form as everything in each one's environment. All of it as an expression of the harmony of the universe. And so any belief that technology doesn't work for them, or that there's something wrong with appliances, or that something wrong with some construct of humanity, whether it be politics or government or banking or shopping, whatever that is, it is now recognized that that harmonious presence is here, there, and everywhere. And it is creating harmonious expressions of itself, even in business, industry, government, and in all other facets of economic, political, and environmental expression. It's all the divine. So each one is now realizing that God is in its heaven and all is right with the world. And this realization alone causes each one to experience what God is creating, what the divine intends, in a greater, freer, more wonderful, healthier, happier way than ever before. And so each one is in harmony, in relationship, harmony with themselves, harmonious with the divine, and harmonious with each one's world and each one's physical body, in harmony with the financial system, with all of the money, in harmony with receiving support from the divine, and interacting in the divine's creations with wisdom, spiritual discernment, and with love, joy, and an attitude of love, appreciation, and gratitude. And so each one is living the life that the divine is creating, but living it in an experience that is healthier, happier, more peaceful and harmonious, more successful, more joyous, more loving, more free, more easy than ever before. It is the activity of the planets interacting with each other within a solar system, and solar systems interacting with other solar systems. This activity is present with each one in their interaction with humankind, with this planet, with the divine, and with themselves. Harmony is omnipresent. It is the intelligence of this infinite mind expressing itself gloriously, always. And each one is experiencing it and cooperating with it, recognizing it and enjoying it more than ever before. I am grateful that this is truth, and so I release this word to that loving law which does what it knows needs to be done, so that each one's consciousness is accepting this word of truth at a deeper, more expansive, more fulfilled way than ever before. I let it go. It is so, and so it is. And that is the way it is. All right, so those of you who mailed in letters, Arlene, I got yours this week. Anybody else, you still have time to send in a letter to your future self. Might talk about that a little bit more later. Right now, Reverend Rich, take us away. And so let's get very intentional right now and connecting with your heart, with your truth, with where you are right now, accepting where you are right now, but also accepting where you want to be. And so connecting with that desire within, just say yes to it and open to it, and know that through the activity of truth's revelation in this meeting, each one of us is more fully embodying that which has been placed in our heart. And so for this, we are grateful.
I am opening, my heart is ready to receive. I am opening, my heart is ready to receive.
Good morning. My name is Gary Torres, and I'm a licensed practitioner here at the Centers for Spiritual Living, Princeton. We are a loving, healing, and inclusive community which teaches and practices the principles of science of mind for the well-being and spiritual growth of ourselves and the world. We encourage daily spiritual practice. In addition to Sunday events, we have ongoing activities with links on our Facebook page, csl.princeton, and our web page, cslprinceton.org. I wanted to mention today, for anybody that hasn't noticed this, because we do have an inclusive practice, that Thich Nhat Hanh has made his transition a couple days ago. He was a great teacher in the Buddhist tradition and a great teacher of meditation and active involvement of people in the political and social spheres, as well as what we conventionally think of as religion. As far as our own activities are concerned, our practitioner Susan Nate is facilitating a series of evening workshops. During this month in February, they will occur at 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday evenings, except for February 15th. The cost is $4.01 per session, and you'll find more information and a link to PayPal on our website. You may make other contributions to CSL or send prayer requests through links on that website. I'm going to talk a tiny bit about our meditation and so forth, because it is an important part of our practice. And one of the things that I just love, a quote from Surya Das, who was once asked, what's the best kind of meditation? And his answer was, the one you actually do. So the same thing goes with practice. You can think of practice a lot of different ways, but if you're not actually getting involved in it, doing it every day, it tends to not be what it should be, and you tend to suffer from it. My own personal practice the last couple of weeks is a very simple one. I take a few words and focus on those words. And I just love focusing on sets of 3 words, like truth, beauty, well, that would be a different other set, and then the same. So, you have faith, hope, and love. The old translation was faith, hope, and charity. Charity used to mean something a lot more than it does today. There's also, well, I'm a little the worse for wear this morning. My cats woke me up very early, so I can't count to 3. But it's a good idea to take a limited number of words without clinging to their meaning that people have attached to them, and start thinking about, what do these things really mean and how do they relate to one another? And I find that very helpful, and it's a way of focusing without getting too focused, without getting wrapped around the particular words that we're using. Thank you for listening, and let's continue with our service.
Well, continue with the idea of words. I'm finding myself at a loss for words. The last thing I need is to be heard. But you hear what you would say. Word of God speak. Would you pour down my brain, washing my heart to see your majesty, to be still and know that you're in this place. Please let me stay and rest in your holiness. Word of God speak. I'm finding myself in the midst of you, beyond the music, beyond the noise, and all that I need is to be with you. And in the quiet, hear your voice. Word of God speak. Would you pour down like rain, washing my eyes to see your majesty, to be still and know that you're in this place. Please let me stay and rest in your holiness. Word of God speak. Would you pour down like rain? myself at a loss for words. The funny thing is, it's okay.
Good morning. It is okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
All right.
Everything, in a way, is okay. My name is Jeffrey Starbuck, and I'm a practitioner, licensed practitioner here in this center and outside of this center. And I am here this morning to lead you in a guided meditation, you in a guided meditation, having to do with power. And then after that, I will speak a very powerful spiritual mind treatment for everyone, unless you don't want it. But it may have an effect anyway. So let's get started. First of all, I would like everybody to notice that they're sitting somewhere, unless you're not, and let yourself be held by the chair that you are in, or the sofa, or whatever it is that you're on. Feel the force of gravity pulling your physical body, applying its pressure and pulling it sort of downward, so to speak. Feel the settling of your body. Feel your body being held, in a sense, by gravity. And simultaneously, let me mention, have both of your feet on the ground, please. Uncross your legs, have both of the feet on the ground, and feel the connection with the earth. This is a electromagnetic, energetic, good practice to have the energy at this level flow through your body. Have your spine straight, upright, while also being relaxed. Breathe in deeply through both of your nostrils. Breathe in deeply. Hold the breath for a sec. And now breathe out deeply through both nostrils. Breathe in deeply through both nostrils. Hold the breath and breathe out deeply through both nostrils. Breathe in deeply through both nostrils. Breathe in a little bit more. A little bit more. Hold the breath. Feel it. And now breathe out deeply through both nostrils. And now allow the breathing to just flow by itself without consciously, intentionally directing it. And notice that the breathing does continue. And just follow the breath as the breath kind of floats like a dry leaf on the surface of gently flowing water. And sitting upright and alert, listen to these words. Listen to this voice. Close your eyelids. Again, unless you don't want to, but it's more conducive to the immersion. And allow these words to come to you. Don't grab at them. You are now empowered. You are powerful. Power is running through your veins and vessels. Power is coursing through your body. Your body is powerful because you need a powerful engine to do the work that you came here to do. This body, which is a temple, is healthy, effective, resilient, and powerful, strong, fluid, and flexible. Your body is full of energy. You are energy. You are energized. You are now clear. You're clear-headed. You are releasing any doubts you may have or have had. You are releasing any doubts that you might have in the future. You see clearly what doubts are. They are nothing. They have no substance, no reality, no power. You are powerful. There is more power available to you right now than there ever has been before in your life. It is available to you right now. And this is not a problem, because your power is saturated with love. It is made out of love. You are fearless. You are articulate. You know that this power isn't really belonging to your ego, what we call your ego. This power is given to you for a purpose. This power flows from beyond, from the invisible source of all life. It comes with a label that says you must use this power for good in this world. This power is to be used for a purpose. This power is being used to serve others and to serve the planet. You are now the fantastic individual you desire to be, the one you've been dreaming of becoming. Now is the time, friends. Now is the time to step fully into your power. And never worry that you'll misuse this power, because this built-in mechanism is present. This power surges unimpeded right now in every single person who is listening. You are feeling connected, inspired, uplifted, ready to go. You are receiving fantastic new ideas that are emerging out of the ethers. They're emerging right in front of you, all around you, and within you. You are feeling accomplished, confident, with a perfect sense of timing, poised. You are a powerhouse. You are a powerhouse. You're now able to do things that you were afraid of doing before. You're finding yourself stepping into those things, noticing that there might be some fear, but noticing that it sort of just vanishes as you step forward. You're in sync with life in a way that is new for you. You're ready to grow even more, ready to expand even more into the magnificence that you are. You're knowing your purpose, your life purpose. And this is good. This is very good indeed. And now feeling the effect of all of those words without having to think too much about it, without having to strain. I now speak this word of truth for everyone who is present. Everyone who will hear these words at any time. And for all others who are allied in consciousness with the essence of this message on this planet. There is only one power, and that power is undivided and undividable. That power is always present. It is always here. It is always available. That power is source energy. the all, the source of all creation. And this power is beautiful, it is joyful, it is magnificent. And this power is the essence of everyone who is listening. It is the motive force, it is the energy which is moving, it is in the cells, it is in all parts of the body, it is in what we call the mind, it is in all the thoughts. You cannot get away from this power. And that is good, because this power is good. This power is here to express a greater goodness, a greater glory, a greater joy, a greater purpose, a greater sense of abundance, a greater sense of vitality and health and love and connectedness than ever before known by each one. And so that is what is happening. Each one is now knowing their body and their financial affairs and their love relationships and their connections with all of their friends and all of everybody they're connected to. They're knowing this and they're feeling this. This power is flowing. It is fluid. It can be felt all around you and within you. And that is good. And any belief that it can be blocked, or that it's not true, or that you are an exception, is now by the power of this word erased, dissolved. Because this word is a word of power, and this word comes directly from the source. And the source knows what it's doing. It's intelligent. It is intelligence, and that is good. I am so glad to know, I really am, I'm so glad to know that this is true. I'm so glad to know that this word is demonstrating. It has already demonstrated. It has already been given, and that is good. And that is reason to rejoice. That is reason to say Yahoo. That is reason to say Yippee. And join me now in saying either Yippee or Yahoo, or and so it is. And so it is. Yahoo.
Yippee, Yahoo.
Can't see nothing in front of me. Can't see nothing coming up behind me. Make my way through the darkness. Can't feel nothing but this chain that binds me. Lost track of how far I've come. Far I've gone, how high I've climbed. On my back's a 60-pound stone. On my shoulder, half a mile of wine. Come on up for the rising. Come on up, lay your hands in mine. Come on up for the rising. Come on up for the rising tonight. Left the house this morning. Bells ringing fill the air. Wearing the cross of my calling. On wheels of fire come rolling down here. La 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 la. 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 Spirits above and behind me. Faces gone black, eyes burning bright. May the precious blood find me. Lord, as I stand before your fiery light, I said, la 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. I see you, Mary, in the garden of 1,000 sides. There's holy pictures of our children Dance in the sky filled with light. May I feel your arms around me. May I feel your blood mixing with mine. A dream of life comes to me. Like a catfish dancing at the end of my line. Sky of blackness and sorrow, a dream of love. Sky of love, sky of tears, a dream of life. Sky of glory and sadness, a dream of love. Sky of mercy, sky of fear, a dream of life. Sky of memory and shadow, a dream of love. Your burning eyes fill my arms tonight, a dream of life. Sky of longing and emptiness, a dream of love. Sky of fullness, sky of blessed sight. Come on up for the rising. Come on up, put your hands in mine. Come on up for the rising. Come on up for the rising tonight. I said la 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Well. All right, so, whew, that was great, guys, all that you did. I don't have to do anything. Oh, I'm looking at this book by David Seabury called How to Live with Yourself. And I also have a book by Dr. Albert Ellis, How to Control Your Anxiety Before It Controls You. And the topic today is about stress, anxiety, and other stuff that comes up when you want more. A couple of weeks ago, we began visioning our future self, our December 31st, 2022 self, and we wrote letters to that self that our future self will receive, these little love letters. They are being treated upon by a practitioner every single day. It's in the law. We who have already written our letters are already feeling the activity of that spiritual work that's being done. We're feeling impelled, compelled, and propelled to move forward. And doing all that kind of stuff, what we need to realize is it brings up anxiety. And this is natural and it's normal, and we need to understand it because it won't go away. And the reason for this is very simple. Right now, we are in the bubble of our current consciousness. We, in a sense, pretty much know what to expect. Even though we might think every so often there's going to be some wacko thing going on in the world which will affect us, we actually kind of, on some level, kind of expect something happening in the world. And even though we might be in pain or misery or really say we dislike our current outer reality, we're used to it. And if you, we've got Michael and Arlene who've moved to another state. You notice that when you move, the first thing that you get busy doing is figuring out how to get everywhere. You know, where are you? And until you get yourself familiar with the terrain around you, you have to be on high alert. And you might experience some anxious feelings, like where, you know, how do I get this? What about that? And you might be feeling what we call stress. And once we get used to our environment, that aspect of feeling stress and anxiety disappears. We get comfortable. And, you know, we know where to go to get your coffee, you know where to go to get your groceries, where your veterinarian is, you got all that set. So that part of ourselves that has to take care of all those things quietens. And so right now, wherever we are in our world, we're familiar with it. even if we dislike, we are familiar with our dislikes. You know that if you drive on Route 1 during the rush hour, which I think is Monday through Friday continuously, I don't think, I mean, you know there's lots of cars there. I don't like it. I wish they would go away, but I'm used to it. And I'm surprised if I pull out onto Route 1 at 5 p.m. on Wednesday and it's empty. And actually, that makes me nervous. I'm like, what's wrong? Where are all the cars? I'm used to being it. So, okay, so that's what's going on. The reason is this, as Marcia Sutton and Lloyd Strom have called it, we currently are living within our comfort zone, our bubble of consciousness, everything that we believe, everything that we're used to, everything that we've embodied, that we've accepted. It's all laid out around us, and we pretty much have figured out how to maneuver within it. When we call on spirit, when we listen to our heart and want more, it's the reason why that desire in our hearts to want more is God-given, is because it invites us to the edge of our comfort zone. Otherwise, we would not move. We would stay there. And as soon as we move to the edge of our comfort zone, we come into contact with our false beliefs, those things that don't fit going larger in your lives. And fear comes up, unconscious fear. And that's what stress and anxiety really is. Stress and anxiety is fear, given a word that's much more socially acceptable. I don't want to say that I'm afraid when I walk into the new job. I'm feeling stress. I might be feeling anxiety, but it's fear. And so we need to, because it is a part of growing outside of our comfort zone, and here we've said we're going to be spending this entire year growing outside of our comfort zone, we have got to get clear about all that fear that lives within us, but in being invited to go outside of our comfort zone, we're invited to face those fears and to take a good look at them and to one by one erase them, let them go. You can think about, the head of parliament or Congress or the CEO of a major corporation. Taking on that level of responsibility where so many people's lives will be affected by how you handle yourself, right? The decisions you make. Well, you don't want to hurt anybody. And maybe you're not enough. All those beliefs that I might have, I'm not a CEO, I'm not the head of parliament or something, but if I were to suddenly to be put in that role, I would freak because of all the false beliefs I have, all those concepts I have about myself that don't fit that level of responsibility. I would be in over my head. You know that saying, I'm in over my head. What you really mean is I haven't built the consciousness for being where I am now. And so the ideal is, with this December 31st self that we have as a vision that's calling us forward, hopefully that self is so far beyond where we are now that we have a ton of false beliefs, mistaken ways of behaving, and fears that need to be faced and erased one by one by one. Otherwise, we're not growing. Now, when I first came into this teaching, I really thought that this was about was getting everything you want. I would stay the same. My whole world would just adjust around me and just make it easier for me. And I really thought less would be asked of me. And I learned more is asked of me. More is asked of us, but it's not supposed to be more stress and anxiety and fear and all of our various coping mechanisms. It's supposed to be more truth, more love. We become more peaceful. We become more loving, more generous, more giving. Our whole relationship with others has to be transformed. Our whole relationship with ourselves has to be transformed. Everything has to be transformed. Our thinking processes have to be transformed. Everything. Everything. And when we feel that electricity or the discomfort of anxiety, stress, fear in us, our old habits of protecting ourselves, right, come into gear, and we withdraw, or we do whatever it is that we usually do when we're feeling a lot of stress. Maybe we get very emotional. Maybe you play a whole lot more video games. Maybe you give up. Maybe you become a crybaby. Maybe, as Albert Ellis says, the things that come up, which we have to deal with one by one. Well, these are the things that get in the way, but all of our self-downing or personal inadequacy beliefs show up, these irrational beliefs. And we either put ourselves down or we insist that others should be put down. Or we insist that the world should change. And so these beliefs that I can't handle it, or I could handle it, but it's your fault, I'm not handling it, or I could handle it, but the world is all crazy right now. I mean, those beliefs show up because when we grow into a larger view of ourselves, as Jeff did in his meditation, one of the qualities that we must grow into is that divine power, that powerful person within us. In other words, these things that upset us at our current level of consciousness, let's call it our January 23rd consciousness, the stuff that bothers us now, on December 31st, we'll look at that sort of stuff and go, oh, that's nothing. Why did it bug me? Why did it make me crazy? And that is evidence that you have grown. We all are being called upon to outgrow the false beliefs that are allowed to coexist with us in our current consciousness. They may be making us unhappy. They may be making our lives more difficult. Like, you all know I keep working with, I love technology and technology loves me. I'm growing. Well, okay, so you have a computer savvy genius lives side by side with me somewhere on this planet, the Geek Squad people. Tony, I used to have his little business card, and he'd come and fix my computer. And I'd try to be watching him. What are you doing? What are you doing? He'd just fix it. I'm like, okay. That person is undisturbed if the screen goes blank. That person is undisturbed if a particular message comes on. Pat, I don't know if you're out there right now, Pat assists us in our church's computer stuff, and every once in a while I'll get an email from what looks like a legitimate vendor, and maybe where we bought the computer, or Dell or Apple or whatever. It looks like that message, and I'll send it to her and I'll say, is this legitimate? Do I need to pay attention to this? And she'll just like that go, it's spam, it's no, don't open it. She's savvy. And I'm nervous around it because I don't have the consciousness of computer genius that she does. And so what we want to realize is We don't have the consciousness of our December 31st self yet. And yet, as it calls to us and we take steps toward it, we might feel, and we should feel, if we've got a big enough goal in front of us, stress and anxiety. And realize when you feel it, you're feeling fear. So I had to do a couple of things after the new year. I love technology and technology loves me. So I went through that whole shamanial of buying a new, what they call a television set, but it's really not a TV set anymore. It's a device. So I've got a device, a platform for stuff. And after it all got it set up and it all got working, I had the old TV set. My brother had carried it out to my car, this big 40 pound thing with the cracked frame all around it. It was, and I had it in the back seat of my car. I couldn't push my driver's seat back because we stuck it on that side of the car, not thinking it through. And I was waiting for the television recycling event in my township to drop it off, which wasn't for 2 weeks. And so I'm driving my car around for 2 weeks with this giant television set. So Saturday morning came of the TV recycling event, and all I had to do was drive to it, and I was afraid. Now I didn't acknowledge it as fear. What I felt was, I don't want to. They're going to be me. And then what we do when we feel that stress and anxiety, I started imagining these mean people at the recycling thing telling me, oh, you read what's online wrong, or we changed that whole procedure, or I'm sorry, we don't take TVs anymore. You have to drive like 10 miles out of your way for it. I began hearing these improbable but possible scenarios in my head, which was adding to my lack of wanting to take the TV set. And this was a frequent occurrence. Whenever I start to do something I really haven't done before, these improbable but possible scenarios start coming up in my head. And what Albert Ellis suggests to us is that instead of dealing with these improbable but within the realm of possibility scenarios, that we start thinking of what is the probable and not impossible scenarios, which is the probable scenario was, they do this all the time. I'm not the first one bringing a giant old ugly TV set. There's been bigger ugly old TV sets. I bet they still get gigunda ugly TV sets that are even heavier than mine. This is what they do, and maybe it's even enjoyable. And so realizing that that was going on, how do I get me, Karen, pre-going to the TV recycling plant, to the consciousness of Karen that is there, dropping off the TV set? And so one of our spiritual practices that helps us is affirmations. And I began saying, I said it 100 times, I can do it. I wasn't feeling changed while I was doing it. I just kept saying it. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. And, I was driving my car from the coffee place, and I was driving it home, which went by the recycling thing. And I'm saying, I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. And I said that affirmation all the way up to the recycling place. And I pulled in, and there were the guys, merrily and happily awaiting my television set. And we had an enjoyable they're like, just the set? I'm like, yep, just the set. They took it out. It didn't break and fall all over in a million pieces on them, because remember that frame was broken. And they put it into a spot. They were prepared for it. They were ready for it. It all worked out. Now, people in this audience and out there virtually, I'm sure those of you who have dumped off a number of television sets, you probably are thinking, what's the big deal? You just go there. They're there. That's what they do. What's your problem? But it's not something I had done before. And so the fear, I can't handle it, that belief came up as anxiety and as stress, but I only knew it as I'm not in the mood. I had driven around for 2 weeks with a television set, shortening my legs as I drove. And when the day came to drop it off, what I felt was, I'm not in the mood. But see, as I looked deeper in it, I saw it's fear. I'm not enough. That belief, I'm not enough, I can't do it, and maybe they'll yell at me. Maybe there'll be angry people there. All my personal false beliefs that the Karen who finally got there at the recycling plant does not have, because she has knowledge, because she became that consciousness. And so that simple little no big deal moment was a step of Karen of January 1st becoming Karen of December 31st. Because those beliefs, think of that, those false beliefs that I demonstrated, I can't do it. Accusation against myself. They are going to be angry and tell me I'm doing the wrong thing. Accusation against other people. And then the third one is technology. It's technology's fault. Why do they keep changing the TV sets? Why are they making me buy a new TV set? Why are they designing things that are not meant to last? Accusations against the world, the environment. These three ways of relating with ourselves, with other people, and with our environment all have to get changed as we grow into a larger expression of ourselves. And because we're on a spiritual path and we've written these letters and they're being spiritually treated upon, every quality of the divine is calling us to express it in a greater way. And so for me, in that little scenario, it was probably a quality of harmony, that the world works. But those beliefs that I have, number one, I don't work. Number one, they don't work. Number two, the TV and technology doesn't work. All those beliefs had to get released. They had to get examined. And spiritually, I mean, we could just mentally work through it, but that affirmation, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. It made no sense, but it was what I needed to say for me to grow into actually experiencing what I needed to experience. And that's the case no matter what goal or idea that you have of yourselves for December 31st. And hopefully we wrote some little things, but also some big things that will require a lot of growth of spiritual qualities in you. And so our prejudices need to be examined. What Ellis says is, we all have deadly demands and musts that lead to anxiety. And so we've got the musts that are directed against ourselves. I absolutely must be successful in every important task I undertake. How about this? I absolutely must be successful in every task I undertake. There you go. Or I must be loved completely or thoroughly approved by people whom I find significant. Or how about, I must be loved completely and completely approved by everyone and anyone, including the recycling people. I must be outstanding or perfect at certain projects that I select to do. Well, we've got that false perfectionism. I must be outstanding and perfect no matter what I do. And so those beliefs are not ideas of greatness. They are not beliefs of greatness. Those are beliefs that keep us small because they're lies. And those who do great things are not believing that they have to be successful. They are not believing that they have to be perfect, and they are not believing that everyone has to approve of them. They're doing what they believe they are being guided to do. And so when you think of a consciousness like Martin Luther King, he was driven by a vision he had, right? And so he did it no matter the consequences, no matter the hatred that started coming toward him, no matter whether other people agreed with him or not, no matter whether he did it perfectly or not. At that beginning of that famous speech, there was that moment when he was at a loss for words. He didn't know what to say, and one of his, supporters said, "Tell him about the dream." And he was like, "Oh yeah, okay." And so he gave that speech. So he didn't do it perfectly. In his own life experience, did he see himself as being successful? And he certainly knew that everyone didn't approve of him, but he had outgrown those little thoughts. And that's what those thoughts are, these musts. The world has to agree with me. You have to agree with me. I have to be perfect. Those are little thoughts that ideally each one of us will have less of on December 31st. We will have outgrown them. So we have these musts and shoulds directed against ourselves, and then we have it against other people, right? Other people must help me get what I want. Right? And if they don't, then it's their fault. They're in my way. And so you all know what that experience is. And then finally, must directed against the environmental or world conditions. And how many of us are looking at the world right now and going, well, I can't do anything because of the world, right? It's the world's fault. So what we want to realize is that we've set this this future self is calling to us. It's in our heart. The desires that are in our heart are of the Father. We don't put desire in our heart. Try it. You can't. But they're there. And if we are extremely in pain or discomfort when we acknowledge those desires in our hearts, we tend to give up or talk ourselves out of it. Right? That one saying which people say is New Thought, and I think it's stupid, which is, it wasn't meant to be. By who? By what? It wasn't meant to be. Sorry. Take a deeper look at that. Is that just something that you're saying to get yourself off the hook? Because it's too uncomfortable, because it's too painful, because it's too hard, because it's requiring more of you than you wanted to give when you had that idea. This fear that comes up in us when we desire more is big. It's not a little thing to be dismissed away. And there are some of us who may have been raised in a parental situation where rational thinking was not communicated as reasons for not doing certain things, whereas yelling and force was, right? So why do I have to do that? Because I said so. Or if you do something that they don't like, you get smacked, whatever. This unexplained way of raising children creates an atmosphere of threat around them and becomes an adult who is more than healthy, unconsciously afraid that something will hurt or harm them in the world. And so it builds an anxiety-ridden consciousness. So I know I was raised that way. I lived in, and I went to Catholic school, so I had at home, anger that would pop out every once in a while, and then at school, which it was just continuous, behave or else. The biggest thing that you were threatened with was getting sent to the office where they had a paddle machine, and you would be put through the paddle machine. This is what we believed. My mother, I think when I was in 6th grade, started working in the office, and I remember going up to her and go, "Mom, that paddle machine in there." She's like, what paddle machine? I'm like, "There's a paddle machine in there." She's like, "There's no paddle machine in there." I'm like, "What do you mean there's no paddle machine?" "Look, because that's where they send you if you're really bad, like you didn't do your homework or something." Well, apparently when I found out there was no paddle machine, I spread it around the school like wildfire. "There's no paddle machine. What were we afraid of?" Well, we weren't afraid of being sent to the office anymore, but we still had that unconscious fear. So realize you might have been raised, again, out of ignorance and innocence. That was thought to be good child rearing for a while. But it creates this unhealthy, unconscious expectation of our world. And so whenever we go outside of our comfort zone, those irrational fears show up again. David Seabury, he says, the time-saving method of training children by force instead of reason loads them with what we might call artificial fear. For what it mostly succeeds in doing is to fill their minds with habits of reading fear into every new situation requiring decision that comes along. And the natural result is to give them a nagging uncertainty about facing new situations, along with about the worst factor in neurosis, which is conflict between thought and feeling. But nagging uncertainty, you wouldn't think it would have at its root fear and an experience of artificial fear, and just filling your mind with reading fear into every new situation. So if you're one of those people who, when you have to make a new decision, like me with the TV set, I knew I was divinely guided to get a new TV set at least 3 years earlier. And I would go onto the internet and I would start looking, and then because it's all new technology, I would go, "Oh, I don't know, I can't make a decision. It's like too much information. I need to research it and become an expert on television technology before I can buy a television set, because I don't want to buy a TV set that's going to require me to use any more new technology than I absolutely have to." What is that? That's not rational thinking. It sounded rational to me, and it didn't sound like fear to me, but to all of you, it's like, get over it. And I did get that advice from people, but would I follow it? Of course not. But ultimately, I've got another book at home, which I'm afraid to open. The changes that are being demanded by our environment are fast and furious, and there's no way that we'll ever be able to keep up with all of the changes, which means our relationship to change is what has to change. So that we have, but if you're, living with this anxiety-ridden self that was created from childhood with artificial fear, it's going to be very difficult to adapt to any new situation, because it's going to require a new decision. And you've got that reading fear into the new situation. I got the new set, I got the thing, I followed the directions, I had to be on the phone with the cable people, I had to be on the phone with the TV people because there were things wrong, but they fixed it virtually, and it's all working just fine. And I sit there going, actually, that was easy. But it didn't feel easy, but it was actually kind of easy. And actually, I could have thought it was fun. And that's what we want to do. We want to adopt, we want to accept, I'm going to grow, and I'm going to have to face all the stuff that comes up. And with spiritual practice, I'll be able to face it. And so we have Gary, who led us in this absolutely wonderful, who gave us that Thich Nhat Hanh's dedication to that spiritual practice of stillness, of meditation. That's critical in growing into your future self. To withdraw from all these things that are causing you anxiety and go into that stillness within. And then in that stillness, to listen to its counsel. And boy, you've all got here virtually on our Facebook page the meditation on power that Jeff did. Because that's what we need to know. I am powerful. I can handle this. I can do. I can change. I can become that December 31st self. I can write every day. I can talk to that computer person. I can drop my television set off and my refrigerator and everything else off at the thing. I can handle it. To build that empowered consciousness as a real thing for you, because much is being demanded of us in that December 31st self. So we've got that be still, we've got that powerful treatment, and then we have affirmations. I can do it, or whatever your treatment is. I can face it. I can get through this. It can be easy. Life can be good. Whatever it is that you need to combat those personal false beliefs you have that are just making you so uncomfortable. We don't want to end up being in a circle of fog, indecisiveness, and paralysis. And yet that fear that's in us, if we keep moving forward, that stress and that anxiety might just rise up stronger and stronger and stronger, that our survival habits start popping out. And we don't want to do that. As David Seabury says, if you're feeling all that fear rising up in you, one of the very first steps is to move the body. Just move it. Because you need to move the body and get that stuff circulating. And then, work through that process. But most important is we want to realize that this is natural and normal to have to face all that fear, right? Keep breathing, relax the body. I just realized my shoulders are like way up here. Relax the shoulders, relax. I can do it, I can do it. And with the relationship with your future self practice that we started last Sunday, you work out with your future self how you can best respond to your situation in the moment. And so that you have that present self in communication with that December 31st self. That December 31st self is wise, knows how to help you through it. And it's that December 31st self is loving and generous and kind. Start talking to that self, right? So we've got a lot to think about with this, and please let me know as you keep growing into your December 31st self what else it is that you'd like me to talk about, because we're in this together and we're all moving forward together. And even though our goals might look different, our experience of growing is exactly the same. And so we want to share that support with us. And that other spiritual practice that is so valuable is surrounding yourself with like-minded people, right? Because, I could talk to, one of my family members, but they're not going to give me that spiritual support that I need more and first, as well as the other support that my family would give. So taking all that into consideration, let's move forward. Reverend Rich has been ready to sing for a while, and take us away.
I am listening to the music of the Holy Spirit. Oh, what a song God is saying. I will listen all day long. I will listen all day long. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, hallelujah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, hallelujah. Oh yeah, hallelujah. I am lifted in the love of the Holy Spirit. Oh, what a song God is missing. Praise the Spirit all day long. Oh yeah, hallelujah. Oh yeah, hallelujah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, hallelujah. Oh yeah, hallelujah. There's a silence in the stillness of the Holy Spirit. Oh, what a light God is shining. Let us see it everywhere. Ooh, let us be it everywhere. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, hallelujah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, hallelujah. Oh yeah, hallelujah. Praise the Spirit, hallelujah. So, oh yeah, hey, it means praise the Spirit, in case you didn't get that.
So just sing that song as a
Sing
spiritual
that song,
practice.
right? It's,
There we go.
I think it might be Swahili, but I'm not sure.
Anybody know what that? Check with Ricky Byers.
It's a Ricky Byers, Michael Beckwith tune.
Yeah. Okay, so there we go. We're set as best. We are in this together. Let's face our fears, right? Move forward. And Arlene wrote, "Yay, we don't need Google Maps as much as we did anymore." So hello, Regina, Susan, Mecca, hello. Oh, haven't heard from you in a while. Good to see you. And Clee, good to see you. Regina, it's Ricky. R-I-K-K. Oh, Ricky. Ricky Byer, you mean? I thought you meant Ricky. Okay, Ricky Byer, right? What, did I say something different? All right, enough said. Everybody's looking at me. All right, we've got a live workshop that we're about to move into. So those of you who are out there virtually, we love you. And we'll see you next week. Okay, bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.